Not finding value with your ultimates? Or do you not know when to use it? Ultimates are key in Valorant as they are huge game changers when used right. I want to tell you guys some of the most common mistakes I see with some of these ultimates to help you guys improve your ultimate usage. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Valorant ProGuides video. My name is Trey and I really want to talk about common mistakes people make for their ultimates. Like I said, ultimates are really strong, but you have to put yourself in position to make them really shine. Actively playing for your ultimate is very important when it's up, and you'll see a lot of success if you learn how to look for situations to use your ultimate in. With that said, let's cover some of the most common mistakes regarding ultimates. But before we head in, we have our question of the day. What is your perfect team composition? If you could have one team composition, what would it be? For me, with the recent addition of KILLJOY, I've been thinking of multiple team compositions. Right now, I would say Sage, CYPHER, KILLJOY, SOVA, and BRIMSTONE would be my ideal comp. This just sounds amazing on paper. You have so much intel gathering and defensive setup, it's going to be hard to crack if you're against this team. It is lacking a little bit in the offensive department though. Maybe you could switch out the CYPHER or SOVA depending on what you wanted for maybe a flash like Phoenix or another smoke like OMEN. There's a lot of variations you can do and we'll see what works the best in future tournaments. Let me know what your ideal composition would be and into the video we go. Starting off with BRIMSTONE, my character of choice, his ultimate is a semi-global beam of death that shoots out from the heavens to obliterate anybody standing in the beam, but it's also pretty easy to dodge if just used in the open. The most common mistake I see with this ability is that people try to use this for kills without any correlation to the map. You have to be actually meticulous when positioning this ability so there are no cracks on the map to hide in. Also pay attention to using orbital strike when enemies are in a corner with nowhere to run. The best example is of course being able to orbital strike U-Haul. It normally gets a kill or forces someone to run out into your team's waiting arms and is great for when you're pushing onto bind A. You always want to look for situations like this where it forces opponents to run out or die to orbital. Remember to position the orbital strike so that half of it is not wasted in the wall, yet there are no cracks for the opponent to hide in. The main uses for orbital strike are to delay pushes, spike plants, push people off of corners so you can shoot them, and just straight up killing them. Second on the list is OMEN. Now this is a global ultimate, able to teleport him anywhere he desires on the map. His ultimate excels at getting information, making enemies paranoid, and just creating a lot of chaos in general with him blocking the minimap as well. The biggest mistake I see OMEN players make with his ultimate is always TPing to the flank. Sure, it can work some of the times, but it's usually super predictable and normally you'll get hunted down pretty easily by the opposing team. Instead, try to save your ultimate to use during a push on offense. When your team is pushing onto a site, you might want to TP in a corner somewhere to get really nice positioning while your team is running in, or TP in the middle of site so it baits the opponents into shooting your ultimate. With everything going on with your team running in, the ultimate staring at them, and the minimap block, that puts a lot of pressure on the defending player and you will probably make a mistake you guys can capitalize on. Now I just want to make clear, it's not always a bad thing to flank TP, but it's very risky as you might just be giving the enemy team a free kill and you don't want to do that. Ulting onto the site with your team pushing in is much more consistent and will usually yield better results on average. Try to always smoke before you TP and communicate with your team where you'll be TPing. Third up is CYPHER, and for our hatted man, there's not much to say as his ultimate is very straightforward. He throws out his hat on a fresh dead body and sucks the information out of their soul, telling you where everyone is on the map. For CYPHER, I'd say just don't be afraid to use his Neuro Theft even if you're up a 2-man advantage, as it'll really help make it into a cleaner round, and also you won't be surprised by any crazy flanks that might lose you the round. In addition, I also want to tell you, if you're at like 6 out of 7 stacks for your ultimate, play more aggressive. You need an enemy body to activate your ultimate, so you might as well get that kill and then immediately ult. That's a fantastic CYPHER tip I think everyone should use more frequently. For our Snake lady, her ultimate is a big green cloud. It recently got buffed pretty heavily, so Viper mains have more control over their ultimate ability. The biggest mistake that Viper players make is that they activate their ult far too late. Viper's ultimate has like a wind up time and is also really loud so you know where she started the Viper's pit from. On defense, you don't want them to push onto the site near you when you're ulting. Remember to ulti a little bit earlier before they push in. A good indicator is when they start smoking your site out. Even if they rotate off, you still did your job. You might think that you need more value for it, but really the only sure value you can get is on post plant or retake where they have to push into your ultimate. For Viper's Pit, it's better used a little bit early than a little bit too late. REYNA is up next, and her ultimate gives her an increased combat power buff with increased fire rate, access to instant healing after a kill, and a stealth/invisibility upgrade with Devour. The only thing I have to say for this one is don't be afraid to pop it when you're down man advantage. REYNA is a character made to go for frags with the highest 1v5 potential in the game. If you don't get value out of the ultimate, your opponent just had better aim or you're eating straight into the face of the enemy. Yeah, try not to do that as much. At only 6 ultimate stacks, it's faster to stack up with kills, which you'll get a lot if you're playing REYNA. Don't be greedy and save this ultimate, it's normally better to use it whenever you can. Just remember when you are using Devour, go back to a safe spot after getting information, not in front of enemy line of sight. You won't be able to pull out your gun in time if enemies are in front of you, similar like JETT. And just like JETT, you'll both int. Next up, boom! Explosive lady here. RAZE pulls out a broken rocket launcher for her ultimate. Her showstopper recently did get nerfed a little bit, so it's something RAZE players will have to adjust to. This ability isn't too hard to get used to, so instead I'll just tell you to get used to the delayed time to pull out the rocket. Make sure you're in a safe place when you decide to pull this out, and make sure you fully take it out before peeking. You don't want to activate your ulti and immediately get shot at while pulling out your rocket. Also, if you are close to showstopper or have it up, remember to not waste both of your blast packs as they are pretty crucial for mobility to blow up your enemies. Without a satchel, showstopper becomes significantly harder to hit for opponents as they can just run far away. Wind Girl go whoosh whoosh, it's JETT. For her ultimate, she pulls out her fancy knife collection and would like to show it to enemies at any distance. Her ultimate is great for one-shotting enemies afar with a well-placed headshot, and it also is an insane shotgun at closer ranges. A mistake that I see is people normally just save this for eco round. If it's a close round like a 3v3, even if you fully bot, don't be afraid to take out your knives. The right click shotgun ability is great for clearing close range corners, and then you can switch back to your rifle if need be. The knives are also pretty good on eco rounds though, so remember to weigh your options, but just don't be afraid to pull them out if needed in a close round. Paired with dash updraft, the mobility is great for messing up crosshair placement and forces your opponents to aim, which they probably can't do. Smiley face. Fireman Phoenix, he is a fireman. His ultimate is a great ultimate, giving you a second body to use and try to get information and kills. Something I don't see people doing enough is being patient and using utility during the ultimate. For run it back, you don't have to just run in and die just because you can. Run it back lasts 10 seconds, which is a lot longer than you'd expect. When you decide to ulti, remember to use your flashes as well, as they might give you a better chance of securing a kill instead of dry peeking. Don't save your flashes if you can use them to get a kill easier. Also, another tip to add, try to walk for the first 2 seconds and then burst out. It might throw off enemies if they don't know where you're coming from after you ulted. For Breach, his devastating Earthquake ultimate, Rolling Thunder, is great for clearing sights and dazing opponents. The biggest problem with this ultimate usually is knocking your own teammates up. When you are using Rolling Thunder, try to communicate with your teammates to let you go in front and then follow it in. When you hit teammates with your ultimate, essentially you're playing a man down for that duration because they will play more passive and hide in a corner to wait for the effect to wear off. You want as much manpower as you can to guarantee the sight take, so make sure to try and not daze teammates as much as you can. Sage Resurrection. A pretty straightforward ability again. You resurrect a teammate, and after a brief delay they can move again. A big mistake I see a lot is that sages tend to resurrect and wait for their teammate to get shot at before peeking. It really helps if you peek the instant after you res, because the res draws a lot of attention towards it. Also, generally, if you do have resurrection up at the beginning of a round, I'd advise to try and save your wall to pair in conjunction to set up a safer res. But still, don't be afraid to res even in a dangerous position to try and bait out enemies and get a kill even at the cost of your teammate's life. They definitely won't like that, but just reassure them it is for the betterment of the team. For SOVA, his Hunter's Fury is great for getting picks and stopping the defuse. Something I'd advise is to not always rely on your Owl Drone or Recon Dart. A lot of the times, you can actually rely just on the minimap if they are in a narrow enough place, like Haven, C-Long, or Split A main. Those two areas are great for SOVA to use his ultimate in and do some big damages even if it doesn't pick up a kill. Try to focus on areas you know you can land the first initial hit and then follow it up after by looking at the minimap where they possibly could be. Minimap shows the range and where you're hitting with the Hunter's Fury, so always take a look at that. And I saved the best for last, it's the new agent KILLJOY. Her ultimate lockdown stuns everybody in the vicinity after 15 seconds when it's placed on the ground. Since she's a newer agent, people aren't too familiar with the radius of her ultimate yet. I'd advise when using this ability, try to place it in a safe spot while also getting as much of the site as you can for both defending or attacking. Her ultimate is great for pushing people off the site and creating space for your team, as nobody wants to be stunned for 8 seconds by lockdown. If you're on offense, normally you want to push in as the timer is running low, like below 5 seconds, because they'll probably be running away out of the site and you could probably get a free site to get in. For defense, you want to place this down far back so enemies have to decide whether or not to just back up or hard push to kill the lockdown. If they do decide to push in, they'll be running into your nano swarms and everything essentially, so it should make quick work of them. Killjoy is especially good on the defensive end, so make sure you properly lock down the site. And that'll be it for all the common mistakes people make with their ultimates. Hope you guys learn from this and can catch your own mistakes in your own gameplay and improve from those. Mastering your ultimates is a crucial part of the game as it has so much impact when used right. Remember to always try to place yourself in proper positions to capitalize with your ultimates and be the reason why your team wins the round. Good luck in your ranked games, fellow gamers. My name is Trey, and once again, I'm signing out. Peace out, guys.